Dennis, another bumper winner yesterday. Well done. You must be delighted with that.
Yeah, thank God, Davey. I had a nice horse by Krillon. Yeah, he goes well.
Athleron is, I think, how you pronounce it. But I just said a 4-year-old by Krillon and ridden by Jamie Codden. Very impressive. And he'll go to the sale next week.
He go to Newmarket next week, Davey, next Wednesday, yeah.
And last week in Punchestown, then you had another winner, Jet of Magic, a 5-year-old by Jetaway. He goes as well.
He goes as well. Big fine horse too, yeah.
He is, yeah. And then you had a horse who was third, then Akivango horse, then General Menadro.
Yeah, another fine horse, yeah. He goes too.
There'll be just the 3 horses that
Three nice horses going, yeah.
It's obviously huge relief, Dennis, to be able to send horses to a sale now and have those point-to-point bumpers that you have had at Wexford, Punchestown and Tipperary with no point-to-point being on.
Of course it is. Sure, you have the first 2 or 3 in the 4 and 5-year-olds that are able to go, if they wish to go, I presume. Of course, it's an outlet to get make space for young stock next season.
Yeah, and do you think point-to-points will come back, or do you think there's going to be a need then for more of these point-to-point bumpers?
Will there definitely be a need for more of them if the point-to-points don't come back? They may try and run another 4 or 5 of them for sure. Will Pinton come back, Davey? Your guess is good as mine.
Yeah, okay. Jamie Codd obviously riding as good as ever. His first winner on the track last week at Punchestown for you. Yeah. It's hard to believe, isn't it?
It is hard to believe.
All the years that he's there together.
All the years this year and all the winners he's after riding. Yeah, it's mad, but anyway, maybe something new.
Yeah, and then obviously the one yesterday, and he never would have thought that Denis Murphy would provide him with 2 winners on the track, I'm sure, in his fight to try and win the amateur title this year. And he has a great chance in that this year. He's gone 2 clear of Patrick. I know we all know Willie has huge firepower there for Patrick, but he definitely has a good chance with Gordon Denise Foster having so many nice horses up there in the yards.
Yeah, definitely, sure. Hopefully they'll start throwing him up on a few of them maiden hurdle horses, and maybe he'd nick 3 or 4 maiden hurdles on the way with the bumpers along. I'm sure he'd give Patrick all he wanted of it if that was the case.
Absolutely, he's a huge asset to you to have in point-to-points, but definitely now that you're running a few bumper horses, it must be great to have him.
Oh, sure, it's unbelievable, sure. The experience you have in them over the years are second to none, isn't it?
And then it's good then for Luke Murphy here and Simon Kavanagh, Connor Smithers, these lads who are with you as well. Very tough on these lads that are not able to ride as much because of no point-to-points. It's tough for these lads to get rides and bumpers, not being in the yard that has bumper horses, really.
Oh, it's terrible on them. There's no point in saying different. They're nearly after missing 1 year of point-to-point, and now, sure, it's hard on them. It is hard on them, but I'm sure there's plenty of other chaps the same out the country. It's just the life we're in, Davey.
Yeah. Looking forward then, do you start thinking, or is it too early to start thinking about store sales in the summer now?
Well, so you would, when you start making space, you would start thinking that way straight away, of course.
And what happens then, let's say for yourself, that you're left with more horses than you would normally be left with after a season? Are you able then to go buy those more horses, or do you just have to hold on now?
Well, sure, it all depends. Sure, obviously we'll have to run some of the older horses on the track and try and get some form on them and move them on. That's what we'll have to do to try and make space for young stock.
Do you find that you have to do different things with the horses on the gallop here? We've seen them going by. Do you have to change their training regime for running bumpers?
We didn't change a pile now. We honestly didn't change a pile, because if you go too quick here, they're inclined to the babies who go lame on you. So for that reason, we only can go steady away with them on the sand anyway. So there's not a pile much different we can do. We have a grass field over there. We'll probably use that a bit more the last month.
Okay.
So only up over 3 furlongs. Let them slip up it there once a week. That's a help to us, yeah.
You have a fine gallop here up a nice, I suppose it's more than a nice, it's a good old climb up that hill and deep sand.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. So you get a nice blow into them without overdoing it on them.
Yeah.
It is nice. It is. Yeah, don't overdo them, which is very important with them young horses.
What expectations do you have going to Tattersall's next week with these 3 horses? Having not won a point-to-point, they've now won a bumper. Do you have a different figure in your head when you're going with these horses?
Oh, look at here, by the way, want the horses sell themselves. They're fine horses, and so everyone know out of these point-to-point yards they're going to be well schooled. So they were schooled to run in point-to-point. So it's the only difference is when they won, there was no fence in front of them, really.
That's all.
That's the only difference it is. Do you know what I mean?
Just my own opinion from being down in Wexford the other day. Isn't it hard to believe that standing up in that stand, watching those horses go around with those fences just sitting there idle.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe that they can't run point to points on the tracks in some tracks.
It's unbelievable. There's no doubt about it, but I think it's something to do with insurance, Davey. I think that's where they're caught for that. They did try. So that's just the thing we're in. Because if you had a trainer's license, it's fine. If you had a handler's license, that's driving up the insurance apparently. So that's where they're caught. Yeah.
With Brexit and everything now, do the horses need to go any earlier for next week, or are things all
The
done
horses
the same?
don't need to, but the paperwork is barbaric. It is.
I've heard with some of the horses that were in Cheltenham last week that it's not that
I'd
straightforward.
have to take that much blood out, and you'd be lucky if there's a drop of blood left in them at all. That's a fact. You have to take blood to go, and you have to take blood for fearing they don't sell to come back. If not, your horse may stay in England.
Right.
So there's a lot of stuff have to go on that way.
And then do you lose much money in terms of if you sell a horse then and what you have to pay?
I don't know about that yet, Davey.
No, I thought you'd be the man that. No, that's why I said I'd ask you.
We'll worry about that one later.
Sell them first.
Yeah, sell them first.
Well, that's good. Well, listen, very best luck next week, and well done over the last week.
Thanks, Davey. Come on.